This video is going to be a bit of a montage. Somebody said to me, can you put all these monitoring videos all in one place and make it easy for me to do all monitoring on my system? So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cover setting up system monitor and setting up system monitor on Proxmox. You can skip that if you want. How to put Watchman in and how to create a dashboard so you can kind of see what's going on and any scripts and kind of things that go around the outside. That's what we're going to do. It's going to be a bit of a montage, as I said, so some old stuff, some new stuff, everything's there. The idea is at the end you have a Home Assistant that if it goes wrong you can go back and see what happened, CPU spikes, out of disk space, etc, etc, and hopefully it will tell you before it happens. So let's roll the credits and we can get straight into it. So the first thing we're going to do is install System Monitor. Settings, devices and services, it's an integration and it's called System Monitor. Okay, and you click submit and I'm going to say, oh, it's in the server room. Okay, so we're kind of set up like that. What we then need to do is it's got lots of entities. Now we don't really need to show them all, but disk free might be a good one. So going in here and enable, click update. It can take up to 30 seconds to do. Disk usage, we've got disk free, which is all we really need. Last boot, that's another reasonable one. So click on it up to here. Enabled, update. Thing I'll say about last boot is it's not last run of Home Assistant or reboot of Home Assistant. It's last boot of the machine that it's actually running on. So if you restart Home Assistant, that doesn't change. It has to be a restart of the whole computer. We should have system load. Let's pick the last 5 minutes. It should be average over the last 5 minutes, so we'll enable that one. Click update. Let's look at memory in use. You could collect them all if you wanted to, but it just gives you a long list. We could have network in and out. That's my network card, so let's have that one. Enable. Okay. Processor use, so this will be processor use kind of as we're going along. Enable, click update, click OK. Right, what I then want to do is, this is one of the things that you probably need to look at, but you don't need to look at all the time. It's nice to kind of get into places. So what we'll do is we'll create a new dashboard for it. So in the settings, dashboard, add a dashboard, new dashboard from scratch, system monitor. Well, what should we have as a system monitor? Let's type system, see what comes up. Oh, cell phone down. It's not going to be admin only. I'm going to show it in the sidebar. Click create. Okay. So then create a user that Home Assistant can talk to. So I'm just going to log on to my Proxmox instance. As you can see, I've only got 2 servers here. So what we need to do, first of all, we have to go to the data center, which is kind of the top level because it's a user and it's going across everything. And we need to create a group. And the group we're going to create, I'm just going to call HomeAssistant Monitor GRP group. HomeAssistant, monitors. Click create. What we then need to do is give roles to that group. So these are the possible roles. These are the default roles. So you get from administrator all the way down to no access. You can give this group administrator rights, but we don't need to. All we really need to give it is auditor rights, because we just want it to look, like I said, you can give it administrator rights, and you can manage Proxmox from within HomeAssistant. So you can make HomeAssistant commit suicide by killing itself in Proxmox. So what we need to do is we need to give this group permissions. So we click on permissions, we click add, we click group permissions, and we want to give it at this level, and the group is going to be HomeAssistant Monitor, and the role, I said we could give it all these things in here, but I'm just going to give it auditor for now, and click add. So we've got a group, it's kind of set up there. Next thing we need to do is create a user. So there's our root user. We're going to click add, and I'm just going to call it HA. We don't need to fill these things in, but I will. Oh, thanks autocorrect. HomeAssistant. HomeAssistant user, and it needs to be in the monitor group. We click add. Okay, so we've got that user created. So the last thing we need to do is create a token that we can log on with. So instead of using username and password, we're going to create a token. So in permissions, we go tokens. We say add a new token. The user is going to be my HA user, and we're going to call the token ID Home Assistant. Right, we uncheck privilege separation. Comment token to log on assistant. We don't want it ever to expire, and we click add. Right, really important, this value, once you close this, you are never ever going to see it again. So I'm going over to Notepad I've got over here, and I've copied it and I've pasted it. Once this is gone, it's gone. We can't see it again. Okay, so we'll click close on that, and we got our token set up. So that's the kind of majority of work we have to do in Proxmox. So back in HomeAssistant, what we need to do is we need to install the HACS add-on. So HACS needs to be installed. I've done a video on how to do that, top of the screen if you haven't got it done. So in HACS, it's a custom repository. So we've got to go up here. We've got to go custom repositories. Now I've got the link and I'll put it into the description for you. It's linking to things on GitHub. So that's the repository, and it's an integration, and we click add. Okay, and it's as you can see, got it in there. And now if we search for Proxmox, there it is. Okay, these are all the things you want to do. So we want to download it. You can go back in versions and all sorts of things, but we're just going to download it. Okay. I'm hoping it's going to say, yeah, it wants to restart. So we'll click that button. Click submit. And it will restart HomeAssistant. Okay, we're all started up again. Okay, the next thing to do is actually add the integration. Now the best way of doing this is going to the integrations link and finding the add my integration. But if you're too lazy to do that, in the description I've got the integration link, and you can just paste it into a new window, and it comes back and says, do you want to install it here? And I'm going to say open link. Do I want to set up Proxmox VE? Yes, I do. Okay, so I need to know some things here. What's my host name? Well, that's that IP address. It's using that port. I haven't got a SSL certificate, so I'm unchecking that. My username, what did I call it? So back here, users, just HA is what I called it. HA, and the token, I called HA as well. No, I didn't. I called it HomeAssistant. Okay, the token value is that important number that I warned you that you really need to not lose. So I've got it on my notepad over here. Pasting it in and click submit. If all's going well, it'll work. Like that. Case is important. So these are my nodes, and I've got a server called Proxmox. I've got virtual machines here, and these are my storage. Okay, so I'm just going to click everything. Click submit. Okay, I'm going to say not now. And it's found all these devices. So I'm going to add them all to my server area. And click finish. Okay, so if we go and look at these services, I can see this is HomeAssistant, and this is the information on what's going on here. Okay, let's install Watchman. Watchman is a HACS add-on. If you don't know how to install HACS, there is a video at the top there. So if you've got HACS installed, we can carry straight on. it should be in the standard list because it's quite a popular download. So we go into HACS, we click here and we type Watchman. There it is. If it's not there, what you need to do is go to, this shows you where it is, the repository. So what you'd have to do is, I'll copy this and I'll add it in the description as well. What you need to do is click here and go custom repositories, add the repository in, which I've just copied. Say what type it is, it's an integration, and then click add. But it's already in the list. So what we can just do is click on here, click on download. Again, you can choose versions, but kind of no. Okay, it tells you what it does. It looks at entities to make sure that they're there and they're not kind of stuffing missing. It's got a setup thing, but we'll cover all that in a minute. And I don't think it's got a sensor to stop dogs barking, but it would be nice if it did. So I think if we scroll down and look at settings, it's going to go restart required. So let's click on that. Click on submit. And we're back started again. So if I go back into settings, devices and services, click add integration, look for Watchman. It wants to know device name Watchman, so we might leave the same, and I'm going to put it in my server area again and click finish. So we're there. I don't think you can do a configure. Yeah, you can. So it's going to look in the config folder, which is where your configuration is. You can go and leave that there. You can exclude entities of a certain thing. You can ignore certain files. I'm going to leave all these as the normal. We can go where you want the report, what you want the header to be. So we can even go where's Watchman report, add entity friendly names. Well, we had to add those in as well. Click submit, click finish. So Watchman's there now and set up and running. So the last thing we need to install is a Lovelace card, a dashboard card for the Watchman integration. And again, it's a HACS setting. So we go in here and it's called card mod. There it is. Click that, click download, click reload. Okay, so we've got everything we kind of need to get things going. What we just need to do is create a dashboard. So into settings, into dashboard, go add a dashboard, create a new dashboard from scratch, system monitor. Okay, and I want to call it monitor. Let's see if we can find an icon that's got, I think there's one with an eye on it. Yeah, monitor eye. Okay, click create. Okay, and then we can go open. So I've got a plan how I'll kind of do this. Kind of a rough plan of what's there. So what I'm going to do, let's just quick edit dashboard. So I'll add a title. I'll have badges that show when there's a problem. So things like backups not run and Watchman not run and stuff like that, that'll only appear when you need to. Underneath I'll have lists of the things that are there and perhaps the odd graph. That's the plan that I've got. So I'll kind of put that down there. So let's get on with this. I think the first thing to do is actually just chuck all the entities onto the dashboard and see what we've got. So the best way to do this is let's start with System Monitor, is going into the System Monitor integration. These are all the things that I've got, and just click in add to dashboard, and I want to add it to System Monitor. Click next, add to dashboard. That's kind of done that bit. Then at the same time we want to go to Proxmox. Now this is going to require a little bit more thinking. So I've got lots of Proxmox VMs here. So let's do the HA one. This is the HomeAssistant setup. So I'll add that to the dashboard, and I'll pick System Monitor, click next, click add to dashboard. So we've kind of got those things in. Trying to think what else I should add here. So I could put the individual disks in for Proxmox, but let's just put the controller in, which is kind of the top level. Add to dashboard. Now this is going to be a mess, I'll tell you that now. Right, Watchman requires some code to add, but we've added Proxmox and we've added System Monitor. So we go and have a look at System Monitor. Yeah, so I've got System Monitor. So if you wanted to, we could run away now and don't tell anybody that it's not very good. But I feel bad about doing that. So let's add the Watchman cards. Now they are markdown cards. There we'll go. Add card. Look for a card called Markdown. And because we've added that CSS add-on, we can just paste this in. So if you go to the GitHub repository for Watchman, there's 2 bits of YAML at the bottom, which you can cut and paste. And I'll kind of explain them. I won't just say go here and do that. So let's pick those up. So let's do the first one. And it's a case of just pasting in what's there, and you can see it tells you straight away. So we'll save that one. I'll scroll down, there it is, and then we'll add another card. Markdown. Look at the code editor, and then scroll to the very bottom. And paste that in. Click save. Oh, what have I managed to do? Oh, look, I've copied some of it wrong. So let's have a go at creating this dashboard now we've got everything. Now, I think the best way of doing it is figuring out what you want. Like I said, I've just chucked everything onto it, the dashboard to start off with. I'm just going to make the screen a bit bigger so I can take a picture of it. So I just use a snip, which is here. So I want a new snip. I will enlarge everything in a minute. Don't worry, you will be able to see. Okay, so we've got snip. I'll just put this back like it was. Okay, so we've got snip, which doesn't want to get bigger. Let's make it quite big. Still a bit small. Oh, come on. We can see it all. Right. So these are all the kind of entities that I've got on the screen. I have thought of some more that we probably need to do things with. So let's just get a pen and write back up. I'm going to write back. Okay, because we really need to know, have you had a backup in the last 24 hours? Kind of need to know that. Watchman Reports runs on startup, so we probably need to do something about that. So we'll just add Watchman. This just gives me something I can check off. So things we probably need to do things with. Disk space 3. If this gets kind of really low, really peculiar things start happening if you run out of disk space. Last boot, again, it's probably worth restarting HomeAssistant once a week, once every couple of weeks, just to make sure it's there. So we probably need to do one of those. Memory free and memory load. Processor use, I think we should do that a different way. Can I change the colour? Let's pick green. And the reason I'm going to pick green is green for a graph. And I think we'll use a graph for disk free as well, so you can kind of see what's there. Now, it's probably worth comparing this with this, because this is System Monitor and this is my HomeAssistant virtual machine. So that's those. These need to be worked on. So I think the thing we need to worry about, let's go back to yellow, is these numbers. So if you've got missing entities, you kind of need to know to do something about it. Now, it might be that it's something that you switch off every now and again, or it's a doorbell that runs out of batteries all the time that you're kind of not that worried about. So we might say 4, or we might say 3. We might say 3 and not worry about the 4th one. So that's that. I think on Proxmox we need to... I've got 6 virtual machines running on the server that it's running here. Again, it might be worth doing CPU usage, but you can see those. Okay, so I've got the kind of setup. I'm gonna drag this off the machine, but it'll be just on the side. So that's the thing I'm going to use, and it's kind of useful to give you a plan more than anything. So let's go in here and we will let's add a badge to start off with. So we're going to do an entity, and the entity we want to do, I think it's called System Monitor Disk Free. Click Save. Okay, so it's there. It's then worth doing some visibility checks. So this is on 122 gigabytes. So if we change the visibility, let's see whether this works. What was it called? System Monitor Disk Free, and let's say, oh, I picked the wrong one. Add condition, numeric state. system monitor disks free, and if it's above 100, no, if it's below 100, then display it. If we go here and I go done, it's gone because it's 122. So let's change that to, oh, hello, wants to talk to assist. Let's just change this a little bit. So visibility, so if we say it's below 30, that's probably closer to what I'm being here. So that's that. So going down my list, we want to do last boot and last backup are slightly more interesting, and I'll quickly explain why. So looking at this one, on visibility and things, we can use above and below, but we can only really do that on numbers. We could put manual dates in there. So what we have to do is we have to use helpers to kind of give us something to work with. So first thing we need to do is get what the actual sensors are called. So last boot, if I click on here and I click on here, and it's going to be called sensor system monitor last boot. If I just load a notepad up and we just chuck that in here, I'll put sensor in so I don't forget. Okay, so that's sensor last boot. Right, so we've done that one. We just quickly look at, I won't do it for now. So Proxmox last boot, sensor node, Proxmox last boot. So we could kind of get the same thing. I'll only do a couple, I won't do lots. The other thing we're going to want is the backup. Now backup is actually a service, and one of the things you've got is last successful automatic backup. So if we get that, copy, update, find that notepad again, there it is. Okay, so we've got those. Now I'm going to add to it another bit of code that I've got, which I've used before, and like I've said numerous times, I'm lazy. So what it's going to do, it's most of the code for a helper. So what it'll do is it'll work out how many hours ago or how many days ago a last boot or an automatic backup occurred. So I've got that code, that'll be in the description, and I'll kind of do all these so you can kind of use it, but I'll quickly explain now. What it does is it gets the time now and gets it in year, month, day, hours, minutes and second, and it takes away in this case the sensor Watchman last update, which it then divides by that number, which is the number of seconds in a day, and times it by 24, so we end up with the number of hours in a day. And in this case we're comparing it with another value, but we'll come back to that. So I'm just going to move that out the way and go into settings, devices and services, helpers. Now I'm going to try and make this reasonably simple. So we're going to create a new helper, and what we're going to do is we're going to create somewhere here a template, and it's going to be a template number, so it's going to produce a number. So backup underscore hours underscore ago, and the state template is going to be Dyslexic fingers. So it's going to be the time now, taking away the last successful backup, working out what it is in days, and then multiplying that by 24. So it'll give us hours. I'm going to make the maximum value 1,000. And as you can see, backup hours ago is set to 8 now. So we created backup hours ago. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create a helper. It's going to be last system monitor boot. Wait. Oh, didn't do create. We want to create a template helper. It's going to be a number again. Last system monitor boot. And this one I'm just going to leave at days. You see I've taken away the times 24 because you probably need to have it in days. Now hopefully you'll reboot HomeAssistant more than 100 times a day. So last system monitor boot is set to 4. Then we'll click submit and we'll click finish. Okay, so we've done those two. If I then go back here and edit, so the thing we want to add is last automatic backup. So that's what we want to show. And the visibility, add condition, and we're going to use numeric state. Select an entity, and did I pick last? Oh, what did I call it? It's last something. Oh. Backup hours ago. Like I said, you need a plan. System monitor. Edit. Add a badge. So what we want to show is the last successful backup, and the visibility. Going to add a condition. Numeric state. It was backup hours ago, and we want to show it if it's above. We're going to say 4 for now. Click save. It done. So the last backup was 8 hours ago. We're going to need to put some more things in here, so let's just change that. Edit, config, content, successful backup. click save, and I've not done it properly. We want to show the name, which is what I just typed in. Successful backup was 8 hours ago. If I change this now, because you probably want it every 24 hours, we just change the visibility and we make that 24. Click save, click done. Gone because it's not there, it was done 8 hours ago. We'll do the same thing. Add a badge, and we want to add an entity, and the entity we want to add is last boot. Oh, that's a Proxmox one. Tell you what, let's go system. There we go. System monitor last boot. No, I'm on visibility. Yeah, no, that's what I want to show on config. System monitor last boot. So when it last rebooted. Now that's the device, not HomeAssistant itself, and we want to show that with a numeric state, and I called it last boot, didn't I? Last system monitor boot, and this is in days, so I've done it again. I don't want entity state. Add condition, numeric state, system, last boot, no, system. Anybody think it was really hot in the UK today and my brain is befuddled? So we want to show this if, I'm going to say 0 for now, click save. And click done. So I've not had a reboot in the last 1 day. So what we can do is we'll just edit the content. Add the name, and in visibility we won't leave it at 0. We'll say 7 days. Save. So again, it's gone. Right, quick look at the plan. So what have we got? Disk free we're kind of showing. Last boot we're showing. We've not done virtual machines or the Watchman values, but we can do them. Let's do one of those now, virtual machines. So get this out of the way. And virtual machines were somewhere here, but let's find out what it's called. Okay, it's called node something. Right, so we want to add another machine. Entity, and it's called node something. I could paste it in, that's why I copied it. Right, that's what we're going to show. I wonder if we can do anything in here. Let's add the name in. Number of VMs. Oh. And save that. Edit that. And we want to change the visibility. Add condition, numeric state. If number of virtual machines is I'm going to say below 6, click save, click done, and there's no virtual routine because there's 6 of them. Okay, right, the other thing I said we do is some graphs. So we're going to do CPU used, and somewhere here processor use down there. So edit dashboard, add a card, and it's going to be statistics graph, and it's going to be system monitor. We're looking for processor use, max, min, mean. I think that's pretty good, don't you? So if we call that processor use, and what we could actually do is node CPU used, well, I think we're fine there. We've got a logarithmic scale. How far back do we want to go? I think a couple of days, because if there's a problem you're going to know straight away. Okay, let's press save. So let's change this card position. So instead of being position 6 at the end, if I make it number 1, it's going to be on the top, and it's always going to be visible. Click save. So that's processor use. What else did I say? Quick look at my picture. Disk free. Add card. Statistical graph. System monitor, disk free. I'll give it a title of disk free. Yeah, space free will do. And I'm going to need to move this as well. Click on the number. Let's make that 2. Okay. And the other one was virtual machines running. Add card. What am I doing? Too hot to think. It's a statistics graph. Come on. And virtual machines running. Click save. Make that number 3.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Oh, we've not given it a title. And running. Click save. Okay. we've got those things there, we've got those things there. We just need to do stuff with Watchman now. So for Watchman, we need a badge as well. So we just pick missing entities because they normally kind of give a look. Script mess, script mess. So add a badge. One of those. Watchman. Missing entities. Give it content. Missing entities. We want to have the name. Visibility is going to be a numeric state. And Watchman, missing entities, I'm going to say above 1. Click save. Again, I'm going to know what to do with some of those. Right, the last thing to do is make sure Watchman runs every day, and then we'll have a quick tidy up of what's going on here. So let's click done there. Right, so what we want to do is we need a script that runs every day. So devices and serve, no. Automations and scenes. Create automation. Add a trigger. We're going to say time and location. Well, how about when the sun rises? Yeah, that should be fine. And what I want to do every time the sun rises, I want to run Watchman. Watchman report. Advanced options. We don't actually need a report file. We don't need a notification because it's going to... we're going to add a notification. I might change that because it will tell us it's run every day. At least I kind of know. So that's that done too. Run Watchman. Click save. Come out of here. Right, a little bit of tidy up. System monitor. Okay, that's the majority of kind of what I wanted to cover today. I'm hoping it gives you a lot more possibilities on finding errors, because the hardest thing to do is find the problem, and you don't know what's going on because you've got no things. But as well as this dashboard, you've got the ability to do other things here, because if we go, let's give an example. If we go into settings, automations and scenes, and create a new automation, we can add a trigger like entity, numeric state, virtual machines running. When it goes below 6, add an action. Message me. I've not got the message me script in here, but that's the idea, that you can use the information that you've got and these values to do things. So we could say processor speed. If processor goes over 70%, then send a message. It also gives you the ability it also gives you the ability to look back in time, because there's a processor spike there. That might be the backup, it might be kind of what's going on, but at least you can see. And at the same time, if you've got Proxmox going, you can see spikes on Proxmox are on the HomeAssistant. You can look at disk free. It lowers the, if you've got backups, every time you do a new backup, before it deletes the old one, it uses up space. So you can see what's going on. So it's a lot more than a dashboard. But that's, I'm afraid to say, up to you. What do you want to monitor? Or, in worst case, what's going wrong? Does your machine freeze all the time? Perhaps you need to monitor disk space and processor. Maybe even, I've not done it here, but it maybe even the network usage going in and out. How much network usage is being pushed in and out. All those values are in here and possibly usable, which gives you so much more control. Okay. Right, we now come to the bit where I went, remember there was an intermission about the middle because something broke? There was a reason it broke, and it was this Watchman report here. Now it's because of an update, and it's kind of time bound. Now, as I said way back at the beginning, it's nearly an hour ago now, I got the idea of this from one of my subscribers. On this version of Watchman, on this HomeAssistant version, I already had Watchman running. So what I did is I went, okay, I'll just delete it and reinstall it to show everybody. But I found a little problem, which it meant it wasn't working because it couldn't find any services. And the reason being, I'd installed before version 6.4, so I'm on the Watchman GitHub thing. So before 6.4, services, no, the other way around. Actions were called services in the past. So I was updating services, my system was updating services, and I was trying to display actions. So I had to rename the entity. So we just have a look at what I did. Settings, devices and services, find Watchman, 3 entities. So in here it still says services, but I've changed it to action. So it means that the code is using the modern code and it works. Okay. So the last thing I said I was going to do was a battery monitor script. I've already got this on this instance of HomeAssistant, so I'm going to go to my test instance. We're going to use a blueprint. So into blueprints, import a blueprint, copy the address in, click preview, and say import blueprint. So we've got the blueprint imported. What we now need to do is add it as an automation. So I want to create a new automation, and I'm going to use my low battery detection from the blueprint I just put in. So what I want to do is when the value goes below 25%, at 10 o'clock every morning on every day of the week, or so let's do it every day of the week. Choose areas to exclude. I don't want to choose any. Add an action, and I'm going to use a script. And I'm going to say alert me, and what I'm going to do is say phones, no, got phones on the brain, devices on low battery, And what we need to do is put this in here. Click save. Low battery. And click save. So at 10 o'clock every morning that will run. I think I can do this now. And actions. No, it doesn't run. It only runs at 10 o'clock. But that's kind of what I've got set up everywhere. And it gives me a notification every morning. Okay. So that's it for today. As normal, I'll say thank you for watching. Hopefully you haven't completely and utterly fallen asleep. I know the NHS is looking at my videos for sleep counselling. I'll ask you to like and subscribe if you're not already. And I'll see you on the next one. Unless you want to look at this one or this one. See you on the next one.